Three, two, one. What is happening, guys? This is Logan Robinson from Here the Spear, presented to you by NoleGameDay.com. We are here on a wonderful and beautiful Thursday evening, just a few days away from spring camp here in Tallahassee. A lot of things going on the next couple of days. Big recruiting weekend. Got a coach's luncheon tomorrow, and then the guys hit the field on Saturday morning. But to kick off everything, we're going to go ahead and get it going with the king of the spring from definitely last season. It could go back to back. We've got Florida State running back Treshaun Ward with us this evening. Ward, what's going on, man? Happy to have you on here. We're excited. This is definitely the number one guy that we wanted to get on before at least the season started, but definitely excited to get on with you before the spring.
Thankful for the opportunity to have me on y'all show, man. Thankful.
Absolutely. I know the fans are going to start jumping in here in the comments and stuff and showing some love to you, but I want to go ahead and jump into things right away. So we got to go see you in Tour of Duty on Tuesday morning. A little too early for me, I would say, but it was nice to see you guys grinding for us and going through drills and such. But how's the offseason been for you to begin things? How's it been going?
For the offseason for me, I feel like this is like a critical offseason for me, with me being a senior, with me, becoming one of the top guys in the running back room, and I have to, work on myself in the spring as far as like conditioning wise and the stuff that I wanted to, as far as my weaknesses. And it's just a good grind to be with your brothers and then help the young guys come along and then just, overall just push out the standard that Coach Norvell preaches.
Yeah, that Tour of Duty doesn't look like it's too much fun. I saw you around with some other running backs, and you said that you're kind of helping more of the younger guys. And, how has that transition been for you, kind of turning into a little bit of a leader? We saw a few other guys, even transfers, being a little vocal during that Tour of Duty. But how is that you turning into being a leader, kind of being the top dog now in that running back room? And there's a lot of responsibilities now for you. Talk a little bit about that as being a leader now.
With me being like the older guy in the group, it's like, it was pretty destined for me to be the leader, and like with Treshaun leaving and with him leaving as well, I had to, meet Corey and whatnot, and the people that was already in the room, we had to step up into the plate. And as far as like, bringing the young guys like Rodney and the new people, with them being new to it, I had to, coach them up, teach them up leadership as well, and like, encourage them to push, because ultimately when you get down in Tour of Duty, and you get to those 5 minutes and you're gassed, you're tired, you want to quit, and having a little bit of encouragement with your teammates and whatnot is going to push you through and motivate you to be the best. So ultimately, as far as like the leadership, it's like it was destined for me. I wanted to work on this for like, the spring and this upcoming season. And it was one of the things that, my coaches, informed me of what I needed to do better this year.
For what we heard so far, the Tour of Duty has been significantly better than last year. Is that something that you've noticed too, that the buy-in from the team and the effort is much improved, or what are your thoughts that you've seen so far, as a leader of the team?
So with this being like my third year with Coach Norvell, I already know his expectation on like Tour of Duty. So with that being said, I can help others out, and then the team around us can help their other groups out as well. So it only makes us as tighter and then builds the chemistry as a whole team. So it just allows us, to build chemistry and just grind hard with your brothers.
Yeah, and you've dubbed yourself the king of the spring, and for good reason, because like we were talking about earlier, you were the breakout player on the team last year during spring practice, and I swear you ran for like 1,000 yards during those open scrimmages that we got to watch. So just what is it about spring football that allows you to stand out and excel?
Ultimately, these are the type, like spring is what you don't see. And you just hear about, and like this is like the gritty, the hard work, this is the type of work that people start to this is when they break, and this is really like challenges your mental toughness aspect, because you're going at it every day and you're trying to get better, you're trying to compete, you're trying to ultimately put trust in the coaches so they can put yourself in the best position to be in for fall, and playing this fall for. So with that being said, spring is like, champion mindset build, where the champions are built at and where you ultimately earn your stripes.
So you've got David Johnson, but you also got Mike Norvell too. What's it like playing under Coach Johnson, being able to go, at least for me personally, watching him coach you guys? He's definitely hands-on during drills. And then you've also got Coach Norvell, who has definitely a great track record of putting guys into the league. Guys showing out in college too during his time, definitely in Memphis, and now including getting guys at Florida State into the league. What is it like being coached under those two right there?
They're going to get your absolute best out of it, and they're going to make sure that you know everything about football. Like, for example, like in our meeting rooms, when we go over plays, the running backs have to know what the O-line doing. They have to know what the receiver's doing, what the quarterback doing. Everybody has to, because like we ultimately use two backs, so we got to know what's going on the outside of perimeter, inside the perimeter. So they're going to make sure you're well prepared as far as the game goes, and they're going to push you to be the best. And what you get out of Coach Norvell is what you see every day, full of energy, and he's the type of guy that if he sees that you have potential, he's going to push you, and like he's going to push you to like to be your potential. And that's the same thing with Coach Jack as well. So like Coach Norvell and Coach Jack is like, ultimately like the same people, but like, with different practices.
So, before we jump into the NIL stuff, I've always wondered, like I said when I came on, I'm a fan of yours because of the grind. You chose a hard route. You had Division I offers. You were committed to Maryland, right? At one time.
Yes, it was.
So Big Ten offer, but you chose to bet on yourself and you walked on to FSU. So, kind of walk us through why you made that decision and here you are today.
So I'm gonna just take you back to my senior year, and from the point I decommitted. Mm-hmm. So when I decommitted because the coaching staff there with the head coach and the strength coach, they had a little scandal or whatnot with the players. So and then they brought somebody else in, and I didn't think that the coach that was in right now wasn't interested in me. Now, as far as like, I think it was February signing day. Before that, I was hitting up almost every coach, like SEC, ACC, Big Ten, all those offers that I had. And then up until that point, they told me that they didn't have enough spots for me. So after that, it was like little schools that was hitting me up. No disrespect to them, like Campbell and whatnot. But I know as far as myself and like my potential that I know I could be at a Power 5 back. So when that opportunity came for me, my head coach, Coach Rob, he texted me. He called me that morning, and at that point, I didn't even know what a preferred walk-on was. I just know that it was an opportunity to play for Florida State and put on for the best, and it was right down the road from home. So, but yeah, that was with my recruitment though. It was just like a last-minute thing.
And we didn't really hear too much about it, and you can talk as much as you want about it. But whenever you got that scholarship and you earned that, what was that feeling like to you? To you, your family too. I know you have a close relationship with your mom, and she's definitely very supportive. How did that feel? To me, that's got to be a crazy feeling to get.
It was a dream come true, and it was crazy how I was like let know that I was on scholarship. So like that morning, Coach Jack had called me. It was like 8 a.m. and we just got back from I think it was break. 8 a.m. just got back. He called my phone. He's ringing him, and then I answered it, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, Coach Norvell's calling you. Da da da. Pick up the phone, and he snapped. I'm like, it's 8 a.m. Like I'm asleep. So then I hurry up, call Coach Norvell and whatnot. He's asking me like, what you doing sleep? You could be missing something. And I was like, I was just trying to catch up on some sleep before we actually get back to working out and whatnot and not having sleep. Mm-hmm. So then he went on and told me that he liked how I worked and whatnot, and he was gonna put me on scholarship, but I had to keep the main thing as far as academics, football, and then just keep excelling on the field. And once he told me that, it was just like all the burden off my shoulders just went off. In like the 2 years to 3 years that I was like grinding on scout team, it just it just all came about. And then my mom, she was so happy as well because she was paying like for my tuition. So like it was hard on her, and without me like being on scholarship, I couldn't have paid out of hand. So I'm thankful for her and thankful for Coach Norvell for giving me the opportunity for the scholarship.
That's awesome, man. To see all that hard work pay off.
I would have killed to see your mom's reaction. That would have been awesome. That would have been awesome. So you got spring coming up, and there's a lot of things going on. You've got Jordan Travis coming back, and it seems like he's a solidified starter going into it. What are you looking forward to, at least heading into Saturday, to kick everything off as being, now a leader going into this? Corbin now is at the NFL Combine right now in Indianapolis. What are your thoughts, going into your first day of spring, being behind, Jordan Travis there too? Anything that excites you? Anything that we should watch out for? Any players too that you see some bright spots that we should keep an eye on?
As far as Saturday goes, I'm quite, excited to be back in pads, starting to get back with that spring grind because, the tour duty grind was a different type of grind. So, now we're getting back to the real stuff. But as far as, Jordan Travis, pretty excited to get back on the field with him. He brings like a passing and running game to the field. So, and a couple people I'm excited for, like, the transfers with Michael Pittman, Johnny Wilson, and as well as on the defense as well, Tatum Bethune and, Greedy. But as far as the spring goes, I'm trying to, bring that leadership role. Make myself uncomfortable because, I'm not really like a vocal leader. I lead by example. So stepping out my comfort zone this spring is going to help me be a better leader and then, bring guys around me that needs help and motivation as well. So.
And you mentioned earlier that this is a really big spring for you, and with Treshaun Corbin moving on to the NFL, you have an opportunity to compete and potentially step in as Florida State's lead back in 2022. So just how excited are you to start that competition this spring?
I'm pretty excited because, like, as a kid, I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't grow up as a Florida State fan, but like, everybody at least wanted to go to Florida State, and having a dream of at least like having the opportunity to become RB1 at Florida State is huge because as far as like, me going as a walk-on and the hard work that I, sought out throughout these 2 years, I didn't even think I had a chance to even become this point. So it was just a lot of hard times and, blood, sweat, and tears on the field that, got me up to this point. And I'm thankful that the coaches trust me enough to put me in this position.
Christopher on Facebook's asking you, how's the O-line looking for you? Coach Atkins, who just recently got promoted to co-offensive coordinator, and you can probably speak on him too, but there's a lot of respect for Coach Atkins and what he's doing with that offensive line and this class that's coming in. Very impressive. One of the most, the best class in the country, almost, in the offensive line group. Maybe speak on the offensive line and, your connections there. And it seems like Norvell earlier, and Coach Johnson, they want y'all to learn that offensive line and the schemes there as much as you can. But there's definitely a lot to look forward to, a lot of optimism for this offensive line heading into spring.
As I've been watching them through the spring, as far as like Indy peers and whatnot, I see that they're getting better. And with Coach Atkins, he's doing a hell of a job with them. He's making them more trustworthy. He's making them more smarter, and then with their technique, it's just getting all better as far as like older guys and younger guys. And the O-line is going to be way better this year. And all I got to tell you is just see for yourself this upcoming spring, the upcoming fall. So can't say too much.
Yeah, can't give away the secrets. Can't give away the secrets yet.
Yeah.
For sure. One guy I wanted to get your thoughts on is Oregon running back transfer Trey Benson. A lot of people have already decided to write him off because of a previous injury he had during his college career, much like a lot of people wrote you off as a walk-on coming into Florida State. So just what have you seen from him so far, and just what kind of advice are you trying to give to him?
So when he first came in here, we always as far as spring workouts, we have this thing called speed kills and we have a time thing like in spring where we do like 10-yard shuttles or like 10-yard flying tens where we just time for like 40s or whatnot essentially. And surprisingly he was like it was a few times where he was number one. So like as far as his injury goes, he seems pretty healthy. He's fast, he's big, and the thing that I like about him most is like for me, this offense took me by like I say like a good 6 months to like pack down and learn. And with him, with the first two like installs we've been doing, he's been doing good. He didn't really need help with me, and it's like he already got the offense down pat. So like I just know he's smart, which is good, and he comes to work and he doesn't come in the room with no bad energy. We walk him in with welcome arms, and he's a good kid, and I like him so far.
I got to ask this one too, as always. I like jersey numbers, and I think sometimes they mean things. And you went from 38 to 8. Obviously, you turn in to get the scholarship, everything. Different numbers. You get a little better priority there in picking what you want. Was 8 a specific number to you? I know Devontae Freeman wore it back during his time. Definitely a special running back at Florida State. My favorite player of all time is Timmy Jernigan. So, but that's defensive line, a whole different area from your position group. But is 8 any specific reason why you went with that?
So during our exit meeting with Coach Norvell, that's when I asked him for a different number, and he asked me what if I wanted a lower number as far as like single digit. I did say I wanted one, but I didn't like give him like a specific number I wanted, and he just gave me 8. But what's significant about this though, my brother actually wore this number when Little League, so I can kind of like put him as like a remembering of put on for my brother or whatnot. I actually wanted 7 because that's what I wore, but AP got that, so yeah. But other than that, it wasn't a thing I picked, and I get a lot of time about Devontae Freeman, and my teammates, compared to him all the time, call me Little Free or whatnot. So yeah, I can kind of get that.
And how's the the freshmen, the newcomers, but also the transfers too? I've heard a lot of good things like Jared Verse in the locker room. You guys all kind of getting along. Micah Pittman, I've heard, has been a great addition, and Norvell seems to do a good job of this and kind of getting some really good personalities in the locker room. How have the transfers been along with the newcomer freshmen?
It's been good, and I think toward duty, it allowed them to know us better and allowed us to bring them in closer because when you're working with your brothers side by side, motivating them, encouraging them to be the best they can be, it only makes you guys tighter. And then with them being like with the standard we uphold, and then them going out, helping others as well, it just only makes us as a team. It makes us like the coaches, like being a player-led team instead of being like coaches like getting on the players about stuff. So about the transfers and whatnot, they came in with good spirits, and they came in to work. They came to work, so that's good. And they came on a mindset that they want to win and bring something new to the table.
Former offensive coordinator Kenny Dillingham, he left for Oregon earlier this offseason, and since then, Coach Norvell has decided to promote Coach Atkins to that offensive coordinator role. How has that transition been going so far, and just starting to work with him more?
The transition has been good. It's like the offense we're really going to be running is still going to be the same thing, and with Coach Atkins is going to be I guess we're going to get with more scheme, and with him with being like an offensive line coach, we can be more scheme with running game and whatnot. So I guess we get like a different perspective of like what we can do better or what we can do like to alter changes with as far as like run game or pass game as well. So It really hasn't been a change, but the standard been the standard. So with him coming in, it's just we already got a coach that we already know. So
What are you working on getting into the spring? What do you want to get better at? Is there anything that you were working on with your body this off season? Any kind of goals for you this spring?
So my goals is like, for as far as weaknesses, I see like my pass pro as like a weakness, but I've been getting better with it for the past 3 years, and like I began to trust myself more as far as like leverage and like technique, and as big as coming to pass protection as well. So that, and I want to get like up to 200. And right now I'm about like 194, so I got about 6 pounds. And about fall camp or like in the season, I want to be 200 pounds in the spring. But I want to get bigger, stronger, faster, and be a student of the game and be smarter, know the defense, coverages, and just become smarter about the game and just, know the in and out of it.
And well, we saw that last season too. I think too in the latter half of the year, we saw you, I mean, really physical there. Guys trying to tackle, you were taking on 2-3 guys, dragging them with you. You were really physical. And maybe it goes to show too, Coach Dorms, and during tour of duty, but all throughout the year, there's a lot of praise towards him. What's Coach Storm's like, the workouts, the regimen? I mean, what's like a day in the life for you workout schedule, or what was it this last week or so?
So we can use what day we want to use? I guess we can use today because today was a chill day. But like as far as like Monday, we'll have like a 2:00 lift. We'll go out to the field, do some speed stuff, footwork, do some form as far as speed and whatnot, and then we'll actually run to the weight. Like from the IPF, we run to the weight room, like full on run to the weight room. When we get to the weight room, it's just nothing but work. As far as Thorns, he's hype, he's crazy. Sometimes I be thinking about like why we running so much, but I just never question it. And but even though he's crazy or whatnot, he has a method behind it, and it's working. And like you can see the changes in the people's bodies. So I seen the change in my body, and I noticed that I've been getting faster and stronger and putting on more weight and whatnot. So he does have a method for his madness, but he's crazy at the same time.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about him on Tuesday is he's sweating just as much as you guys. He came out to the press conference and he was drenched.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was.
That's Storms every day.
I've got just two relaxed questions here. We always try to ask a guest. Usually it's former Knowles, but now we actually get to ask a current guy on the roster. What's the best food spot in Tallahassee? Because there's a lot of arguments of different places, and I'm sure you guys I think in town eat the most. I was going to say basketball, but now it's football for sure. What's the best food spot in Tally? And there could be multiple.
Yeah, because like as I've noticed, like living in Tally, it's a lot of chicken places and whatnot, and that's what I gravitated towards. So as for my first one, I say Chicago Chicken Grill is like it's by McDonald's, like right across from McDonald's, and then Hip Hop Fish and Chicken Grill. I go there almost every day, or every other day. Yeah. I just had it today, by the way. So
nice. Yeah. And then I wanted to ask, because I think there's a lot of personalities on this team this year, and one of them I saw Bishop Thomas, and it was funny seeing him. We got to have our newcomer interviews, and I thought he was pretty funny. And then saw him at Tour of Duty, and he was just had funny interaction with them. And who's the funniest on the team? Who has the good jokes?
I'm not even gonna be biased with myself, but I feel like I'm the funniest on the team. Not even if you ask anybody on the team, like I can make anybody laugh on the team. But other than me, I'd probably say my roommate Coop though. He's a funny guy.
Coop? Yeah. Okay. And that's not Robert, or is that American?
Yeah, Robert Cooper.
Robert.
Yeah,
Robert. Oh, I can imagine Robert. Yeah. I can see that.
Here's an important question.
This might be the most important.
Or bone-in wings?
Depends on where from. Depends on where from.
Just say boneless, man.
No, don't say boneless. Don't do that.
I like bone in more. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but like if I'm feeling lazy, I get boneless.
Thank you. That's right. You got to be lazy, but if you want to be a hard worker, you do bone in.
Real quick, I want to ask about NIL because I've always felt that players should be paid for the time they put in. So, walk us through, you've gotten a lot of opportunities, over the last couple of months. So, what do you have going on with NIL right now?
So as far as NIL goes right now, I created, we got a website going on where I'm selling my personal merch right now. And I actually got it on right now. So this the merch right here. And then I got like some stuff on the back. And then I got some shirts over there as well. But I have some shirts coming out. And then, I got a few deals as well that's being talked about right now. And then as far as NIL deals, the more followers I get on Twitter and Instagram, the more NIL opportunities I get. So I appreciate the fans if they follow me, give me a follow, check out the gear, support me and follow my NIL purposes, and it's going to ultimately bring me more NIL deals as well. So that's how NIL going for me.
Yeah, I threw it up here on the screen too. I think the merch is pretty clean too.
Yeah,
you guys can. It's actually, if you're on YouTube right now, you can go down to our YouTube description down below and check out the catalog here. But there's a lot of good stuff in here. I personally like this crew neck. This crew neck is clean.
Yeah,
and that's a perfect uniform combo. What's the best uniform combo you think right now?
I think the fans gonna hate me for this one, but I like the black uniforms though. I like the black uniforms. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of hate about the black uniforms, but either the black uniforms or on the all garnet. I like the all garnets.
Yeah, the all garnets clean. I'm waiting for those white helmets too, man. Those seems like the recruits get to rock them whenever they come in for visits and stuff. But man, those white helmets and could go with a lot of these combos too.
Yeah. I actually I asked my coach about that, if we were gonna possibly wear that, but they still haven't gave me an answer or whatnot, maybe in the future. But it will look pretty fire with that white uniform though, in other uniforms.
Yeah, though it would. Do you guys have any more for Sean before we let him bounce out of here? We can probably do one more if you got one, D-Lo.
I do actually. Just about the NIL stuff, I wanted to ask. I was looking at your Twitter, and I saw you did an advertisement with that It's Just Wings company back during the fall. And I just wanted to know, how do these deals come together? Are you actively reaching out to companies and offering your representation? Are they reaching out to you? Is it a little mix of both? How does that go on?
As far as with the It's Just Wings, they actually reached out to me, and it was through a different platform, with this platform called Yoke Gaming. Well, as far as athletes, they could get paid for playing games with fans and whatnot. And then they had a deal within that Yoke Gaming, and the initiator had brought that to me, got the deal, signed it, and I just really got free wings and stuff. And,
hey, sign me up. Let's go. Sign me up. I'll take that.
Free wings, I'll take it any day, and then getting them a little bit of money as well. But other than that, it was just they came to me. But there's other NIL deals that I've been talking about with my marketing agent Jake. But other than that, that's all it was with Just Wings.
And you want to just shout out your Twitter real quick so the fans know where to go give you a follow?
And the IG. Gotta get
follow me on Twitter, N9MXVI_, and then my Instagram is Showtime8 with 2 W's and 2 E's.
Paste that link in the chat too, Logan, so everyone watching can just click on it directly.
Yeah, I've got the IG too here, so everybody can kind of see the username on here too, so they can go check out the IG. The IG is always important.
Got to
get it out there. But yeah, I guess the chat wants you to talk to the coaches about the white helmets, so that might be something you need to do soon. I don't know.
Whoever said that, I got you.
Since you're about to be RB1, you got.
I need the all white with the white helmet.
I do too. I'm ready to post a pic in that. I'm ready to post a pic in that.
Yeah. Well, Ward, man, this was definitely a great interview. I'm so excited we were able to actually grab you before spring camp began. This is the Spring King. So looking forward to covering you, being out there on Saturday morning throughout the rest of the month, heading into April, and being there for the spring game. So wish you luck. Definitely a healthy spring ahead too, and to your teammates. And look forward to seeing you on Saturday morning, man.
Thank y'all for having me, man. I wish to be on here again.
Absolutely, man. Have a great evening, and we'll see you this Saturday.
You as well. Thank you.
See you, man.
Thank you.
Well, that was a great interview there. That was our first one with a current player. I'm so used to having former guys, but I think we survived. I think we survived. We survived.
It went really well. I mean,
that was great.
I wish we could have done 30 more minutes.
I know I could have gone a lot longer. I know Nate could. I know Nate has probably 10 more he wishes he could have asked, but
we were just cutting the questions down in the doc. All right, which ones do we have time to ask?
Yeah, I
To get
know.
him off of here.
I know. James, during the interview there at the end there, when we were saying goodbye to Treshaun, dropped a 200 bomb. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe we need to get more current players on, but James was loving it and definitely appreciate you big time for that donation. That is by far the biggest that we've ever had. He said, so happy for Trey. Can't wait for the season ahead. Great work, Knoll Game Day. So James with the big 200 bomb tonight. Jeez Louise, we're about to go celebrate and get some Hobbit after this.
Like more money than we've ever been donated before.
That's what I'm saying. Damn. Okay. But yeah, so we're looking forward to, hopefully we've got a few other requests that we put in with Florida State to get some, not only players, but coaches too. But that was a great interview with the future starting running back for Florida State this upcoming season. So good stuff. And a great number too. Loco Ocho, number 8, baby. That's what I wore in high school. You know, I got to put that in there. I didn't tell him that though. While he was on, thank God. But
I don't think he would have cared. So
yeah, I don't think he would have given a crap about it. So, but let's jump into some things before we get into our spring defense preview, and then we'll do a little sprinkle of special teams there, and then Austin will run us through basketball, which they're currently on a hot winning streak. Let's talk some tour duty observations. We were there on Tuesday morning, bright, and it wasn't even bright. It was dark and early, actually. It was actually dark and early. D-Lou, that was something that I don't want to put myself through ever, really. And I know for sure I don't think you want to do the same either. But, man, they're not playing. I mean, those guys are going nonstop. You're going through station. You probably maybe got, maybe 5 minutes max of rest. 5 minutes max of rest, about an hour and 15 minutes. But guys sweating. Got to see Steven Dix Jr.
Yeah, but before y'all go on,
yeah.
Now multiply that by like 10. Now it was like mat drills. You
know,
mat
drills, yeah.
Under Bobby.
Yeah, I know. And you'd be you'd hope to find a spot under the oak tree.
Yeah.
At the practice field. But yeah, I mean, these guys were killing it. Who kind of impressed you the most, D-Lou? I know you put some stuff into the Discord, but who impressed you? And I'll say a few names that came out to me.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the first guy that really jumped off the page was Renardo Green. He was just fantastic in the workout, competing the entire time, showing a ton of effort, winning basically all the reps with his specific group. He looks good, and I think he's primed for a resurgence. This is a guy he's been beat up a little bit the last couple of years, and that was something that Coach Storms talked about in his press conference afterwards, the long rehab process that this kid has had to get back. And I mean, if he can stay healthy and get back into that lineup for Florida State, he's going to be a contributor, if not a starter. Really liked what I saw from him the other day.
Yeah, and if I could pick a young guy that out of nowhere was just blowing up the drills, was Hunter Washington. There was a lot of good talk about him coming in, highly touted, one of the top guys in his class coming into Florida State last year. Didn't get to see a lot of playing time. I know Kevin Knowles and Amarion really got in there and got more PT, but Hunter Washington, while watching him in practices last year, was definitely hands-on and scout team. And then we got to see this in tour of duty, and it seems like maybe a big jump is coming for Washington, which would be great to see. A lot of young defensive backs. These guys have a huge spring ahead, but Hunter Washington, I thought, was fast. He was competing. He was beating most guys, if not everyone, in that DB room against some veterans. Incredibly impressive to see Washington out there blowing up. I also, Joshua Farmer, what happened? Yeah. What is Coach Storms doing? I mean, good God Almighty! And we were leaving the workout, and he had his jersey off and everything. And I was like, good Lord Almighty! I mean, he has put on some pounds too. Definitely got a bulking stage going on, along with Pat Payton, Chambray Jackson, two young defensive ends. But man, Joshua Farmer looks like a different animal, at least size wise. We got to see some differences there with some players, D-Lou.
Yeah, for sure. And a guy that I wanted to mention is true freshman, early enrollee offensive lineman, Kanaya Charlton, because this is a guy came in with an absolutely massive frame that need to be trimmed down a little bit. And you can tell, he's already made some progress over the last couple of months during the tour of duty, trimmed up a little bit, in more shape. And, for a guy his size to be able to compete like that during the tour of duty drills, I think it just shows how well he's acclimated to these college workouts.
Yeah, no, goodness gracious, he's definitely put on I think some good weight too, because he was moving. That's one thing I think if I were to pick a unit on Tuesday that really showed out, I got to say defensive tackle. And there still were some guys that we didn't get to see participate, but as a whole, that group right there was impressive. I got to say Daniel Lyons too. I had to look up the numbers. A few guys where I got to go back on my phone and be like, oh, who is this? Who is this? And I was like, dang, okay, Daniel Lyons, man, a lot bigger in person. And these guys were moving. I don't know if it's because Odell Higgins, he is definitely one of the loudest at practices, along with Coach Norvell and Coach Storms. But goodness gracious, Daniel Lyons, a lot of that defensive line group were moving.
You're hyping the defensive line. I'm hyping the offensive line, because let me go back over there. Caden Lyles.
Yeah.
The massive transfer from Wisconsin who's had some knee injuries during his career. That man can move. He's athletic for being 6'5", 320 or whatever he is, and having a couple serious knee injuries. He can move, and he was competing as well.
It was funny, D-Lo, because both guys were right next to each other. You had Maurice Smith and Caden Lyles being right next to each other. I'm sure the coaching staff put those guys in the same drill group, but those guys competing, trying to get to the line first on about every drill. But yeah, Caden Lyles, big cat. Got to also see Jared Verse too. I think he's putting on a little bit of pounds too. I know we talked to him in an interview a couple months ago, and he said that he's working on his body, definitely wanting to put on a little bit of weight, but it seems like Coach Storms is doing a few things with him. But speedy guy, you could definitely tell. I think he's going to be extremely impressive heading into the spring. Got to see Renardo, like you talked about, Dustin. Rodemaker also had a black jersey on, along with Malcolm Ray too. Like I said, defensive line, you're talking offensive line. I think the biggest thing that there's some question marks, and we see it whenever you're watching the damn SEC championship, you're watching all these SEC games, Big 12, these big offensive line, defensive linemen, and you're starting to see a switch here. And I noticed that right away when we walked in. I was like, okay, hold up. Some of these guys are really, really developing. Got to see Rod Orr too, a young offensive lineman. The size difference is getting there. And the fun thing about it is that there's just only a select few. Dachi Richardson, like I said, Kanaya Charlton's in there now, but you still got hopeful three in total guys coming in on the offensive line too that have some serious size on them also. But you're starting to see that change in the trenches for Florida State, getting that size back, that serious size, and it goes to show what Coach Atkins is doing.
Pay him.
It's got to see Isaiah Thomas. Got to see Sam McCall too. I thought those guys just looked. They were two also in the same
competitors,
drill.
Dude.
Yeah, they were competing with one another. It was easy to tell that who was going to get to the line first. But extremely impressive. Two young players that we expect a lot out of McCall, but I think people need to start talking about Thomas more. They need to start talking about him because I think he's more maybe of a college-ready guy. We'll see, but overall, both guys really getting after it on Tuesday morning.
But one thing about McCall, he's never going to be, like a 215, 210. He's going to be kind of like Akeem Dent, a little bit more lanky, but very twitchy, very fast. McCall athletically, I think is going to be fun. We'll talk about it here when we talk about the DBs and stuff. But I think he's going to really show a lot this spring, and he's going to really have something to say when it comes to the depth chart by the time that spring is over.
Any last things from toward duty, D-Lou? They wrapped up everything today. It's a wrap.
Shout out Kobe Gross.
I had him in my notes.
I've been telling people, man, the kid's working his ass off.
Yeah, no, I watched him. I had him in the Discord nuggets right here. I was going to bring him up real quick, but out of that tight end group, a lot of tight ends looked good. You had Jackson West, too, that looked great. Brian Courtney, freshman coming in, but Kobe Gross and Cameron McDonald definitely what? Something.
I was gonna have Austin look at the chat.
Don't worry about it. No, that's all right. Don't worry about it.
But Kobe Gross and Cam McDonald, I thought looked great, but Kobe's definitely worked on his body. I think I texted you, Nate, while we were there watching the drills, but Kobe Gross has changed his body, looks good. And a guy that was probably one of the most competitive ones there and finishing drills on Tuesday morning. Yeah, that was Kobe Gross. But yeah, that tight end group has a lot of talent there. We got a 20 bomb here from Eric Angel saying, great show this evening, NG crew, and glad to see Treshaun Ward live. Go Knowles. Eric, appreciate you always coming in here and hanging out with us and dropping the 20 bomb. Man, we got to start doing more current player interviews. We're going to have to start putting on every week now. But definitely, Eric, appreciate the nice donation there. The love. Let's jump into some NFL Combine stuff as that's just getting started. I was watching some of it earlier. Did you see that, Nate? Nate will appreciate it. Dustin didn't care, but the kid ran a 4.21.
I did
earlier.
not see that. Who did?
Baylor wide receiver. I'll try to get his name, but someone just ran
What
a
do you mean
4.21.
Baylor? I thought it was the Ohio State guy.
Nope.
No,
Chris
it's
Olave ran a 4.26.
Yeah, and then a dude
You ran
from
a
Baylor
4.26?
Olave
Yeah,
ran a 4.26.
Another dude from
Jesus.
Baylor ran a 4.21. It was stupid.
What is happening, Nate?
Pull
What
that
is
up.
going on?
Pull that up. I need to see that.
Yeah, I'll
He was
find it.
zooming.
But yeah,
I was watching it at work a little bit. I saw the kid from Arkansas ran like a 4.6. He looked kind of stiff running that 40. But the thing about the 40-yard dash, man, that thing is just it's speed, but that thing is just a taught exercise. They teach you how to run the 40. It's all about getting down your steps, but
They didn't teach
4.21
me.
is asinine. Huh?
what, Dustin?
They didn't teach me.
That's where the necessary speed comes in, though, and the athletic
Yeah.
ability.
I got about
No.
a 6'7" in me right now.
Yeah,
A 6'7". Is that width? Is that before or after?
no, wait. You gotta tell me the kid's
That's
name,
like right
because
now.
I gotta see this. 4.21's
I'm getting.
Just type in Baylor 4.21. It'll come up.
These times are unofficial.
No, that.
However, if it's official, we have a new fastest man in
Let's look at this again.
Great quality.
times.
Who the hell is that? I've never heard of him.
Yeah, I haven't either. Taekwon Thornton.
If it's official, we have a new fastest man in.
I need a better
His
reaction there,
name's
Rich
blowing
Eisen.
up on Google right now.
Well, it's because
Oh,
it wasn't
yeah.
live. Like they probably didn't
Yeah,
have
it wasn't
on
live. It
the-
was
on the
over
live, so-
commercial, and he ran
Yeah.
it, of course. Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
that was.
stupid.
Yeah.
So-
that
so,
was crazy.
So Olave's for sure locked himself into the first round.
yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah, the Raiders are going to take him. 100%.
Yeah, that one's gone. But yeah, Jermaine Johnson. I know Deshaun Corbin too. Had interviews today, but I'm looking forward to seeing Jermaine Johnson in this NFL Combine and
I think
compete.
he's
Some
gonna
people saying he
dominate.
doesn't need to. Some people say he does. I don't think he can do whatever, but I do think I say screw it, go in. I think it even helps him even more if he competes. In my opinion, I don't think it hurts him. What he
I
did
think
at the
he's
Senior
gonna go out
Bowl.
there and do really,
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah, I'd say go full force. You got to compete in this, and
Yeah.
it will just only help him even more.
I-
But
If he does the 40, over or under 4.7.
Under. I'm gonna say
under,
he
yeah,
run-
under.
I'm gonna say he runs like a 4.64.
I was going to put it at 4.65, but I was like, no, I'll go up to 4.7. See
Yeah,
what y'all say.
I'm gonna say under.
under. Yeah, I'm gonna go under 4.7.
I think he can get under a 4.7. Upper 4.6s.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
Yeah.
he needs to run because
Yeah, if he runs a 4.6, I mean that's phenomenal for his size.
Yeah, no, he's fast. He was finishing plays too last year. But damn, yeah, I love the NFL Combine. I don't know what it is about it, but of course we're missing maybe my future starting quarterback, my franchise quarterback with Malik Willis right now. But I've got that recorded. I'll be analyzing every step and throw and breath that he takes, and seeing if he might be my guy after Jameis gets in town here in a few weeks. So, what are we laughing at? What are we smiling at?
Comments going
Kirk,
after me.
What pick does
yeah, they're
Pittsburgh have?
20.
Yeah, they ain't getting Malik Willis.
But Got to trade up. Got to get up. We did it for Najee. We got to get our quarterback now. The future quarterback. Like I need like 2 years with Winston, you know. Anything else from combine stuff before we head into spring defense?
I haven't even paid attention to the combine, man.
Yeah, you don't really. No.
Oh, there's only 2 people there. Neither of them have done an on-field workout yet. So,
well, you know who should be arrested? Whoever didn't invite Keir Thomas.
Keir Thomas.
Yeah. Whoever didn't invite Keir Thomas to the NFL Combine should be arrested. They should never be able to watch football ever again. They should be put in a jail cell, maybe prison too. I don't know.
It's pretty disrespectful, honestly.
I can't believe it, man. I mean, out of every week, ACC awards that he would have, ACC Player of the Week, ACC Defensive Player, he'd be, I mean, absolute stud. Defensive lineman. I mean, that was multiple times throughout the season, and they completely miss on Keir Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Jermaine Johnson was a star and maybe he flew under the radar a little bit, but the dude still produced opposite of Johnson. And there was multiple weeks where they led the ACC in pressures, like you said, Logan. So it's crazy that guy can't even get a look, especially with his injury last year. You know, you would think teams would want a chance to sit down with him, interview him, take a look at his medical evals and everything. And I don't know. He's going to get drafted, though.
It's not a great quarterback class, so someone's going to take Malik Willis probably 10 picks earlier than they should have.
There's a lot of smoke about
what
the
are you
Lions
talking
picking him
about?
Too.
What am I talking about?
We're talking about Keir Thomas.
No,
Well,
I'm looking
we're
at
talking
some
to
of
the comments.
I'm looking at
okay.
It was this right here. Yeah.
I was lost. Sorry.
Keir has turned into a quarterback. That's maybe why he didn't get his invite. No, yeah. Whoever did that, shame on you. Go screw yourself. I was contemplating if I want to say that, but yeah, they definitely deserve that. Yeah, no, I agree with you, James. Big Ben. I mean, it's a perfect fit. It's a perfect fit in Pittsburgh for Jameis. So that's what we'll be waiting on. Just a couple of weeks from now, we will be popping champagne bottles. So, and we'll do that live on here, definitely. If he's picked, we will do it live. It might be an instant reaction kind of deal. All by myself.
It'll be yourself.
Yeah, I will be by myself. There's not a lot of fun things. Well, you do have Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, but other than that, well, there's Justin Jefferson and stuff. But
Kirk Cousins.
And,
yeah, it kind of ruins it all almost.
I don't know about that one. Thielen.
Okay.
You got Thielen.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, there's definitely talent there. Tough. New coach, I will save it all. Yeah, Dalvin said that he's gonna win y'all a Super Bowl. Told that to TMZ. Nate put that out on a piece. So you believe him? Awesome.
Believe it. Like I want to, but I believe in Minnesota to let me down more than anything. If there's one thing guaranteed in life, it's the Vikings failing me.
Yeah, that is true. Miss Lewis backing me up here. Yeah. Tell it how it is. Keir Thomas should have gotten an invite. Messed up stuff. Spring is beginning on Saturday at 10 a.m. The first practice embarks the 2022 football season under Mike Norvell. And last week we went over offense. This week we'll go over defense, and we'll sprinkle in the special teams at the end of this. But I thought we can kind of start off like we did with the offense last week, and maybe some eyes we're keeping some players that we're keeping an eye on. I know you wrote a piece, Nate, about your guy Travis J and a few others, but there's some guys that need a big spring. Who are you picking out right now?
On
Yeah, this is all defense. So who needs a big spring?
First thing that pops in my head, of course, is Travis J. You know, it's time to really realize the talent, or like you said, and the defensive back room is young, and there is some talent there. Travis J's gifted, but at some point you either got to realize it or you don't. So, Tamori Tate, again, in the same line, does the light come on or does it not? Amari Gaynor, what are they going to get out of him? I think that bringing in Tatum Bethune really is going to challenge him, because I think Kalen DeLoach has the spot locked down. It's not going to be easy for him to be a starter. For the defensive line, I think that there's some quality depth there. I don't think there's anyone that necessarily has to, must have when it comes to the spring. But for me, I would say Travis Jay, Damari Tate, and Amari Gain. I'm really watching, and and what happens if Brendan Gant coming over to linebackers? If that takes, that's another position that's gonna challenge Gainer at that linebacker spot.
Yeah, and Gant's been impressing so far. I think he's had a black jersey on at least twice during tour duty workouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's
doing the right things.
Yeah, and that's impressive for him, even from having a potential getting that position switch too. That's a really good sign, and I'm interested to see how Florida State and Coach Fuller are going to use him on defense. Nate, what are you expecting out of maybe Gant this year? I mean, two guys with position changes, but Gant being one of those, and Briggs moving to the outside defensive end, which we kind of expected.
I think it was going to happen at some point. Even when he's being recruited, and I thought he was going to be a safety and safety maybe to start, but moving to linebacker at some point. Just with the way the game is being played right now, I think that in the ACC you need those really aggressive but fast cover guys at linebacker, and I think it fits more what he can do with the defense. If this was Mickey Andrews' defense and they still had the rover, they'd be the perfect role for him. But he's more of a linebacker. That's his playing style. So, I'm intrigued by how he, attacks that position during spring.
Yeah, and personally, I'll have my eyes on the defensive ends, because you've got a massive hole there, more so than any other position on the roster, with those losses of Jermaine Johnson and Keir Thomas, who we mentioned earlier. And it's just like, who's going to step into those voids? Dennis Briggs is getting moved out to a defensive end spot. That means he's probably going to be a starter. Jared Verse is coming in. He's got all of the expectations in the world. People are already anointing him as the next Jermaine Johnson, which I just think we should temper our expectations, because this kid is coming from the FCS to the FBS. He's only a redshirt sophomore. He's got all the athletic tools and the potential to be the next great defensive end at Florida State. But I just think we need to temper what we're expecting from him out of the gate as he continues to get acclimated to this level, get into the system and everything. And behind them, it's really
Darren McClendon.
Yeah, Darren McClendon and Quashant Fuller. Can they step up, continue to step up and grow? Maybe one of them makes a push for a starting job, but at the very minimum, can they be involved in the rotation, and can Florida State trust them on that outside?
So I got, I don't know if you want to jump ahead, but I'll wait. But I think y'all going to be pleasantly surprised with Derek McClendon.
And I think there's a lot to like from Derek McClendon. I thought he had a really strong potential to be a starter before Thomas came and Jermaine Johnson. He showed out to me. I would always wonder, damn, 55, who is that guy down there that's making plays? Whenever he was a couple seasons ago. But to me, a player that I'm looking forward to watching, might be a pair of them, is the continued growth of Kevin Knowles and Amarion Cooper. Definitely Cooper last season, man. Wow. Hello. I mean, he has a potential to be a starting corner heading into this next season. Got to see him make some plays against Clemson in a big time game on the road there. Kevin Knowles, as we know, just understands his assignments. And that's extremely impressive. That's why I got playing time early on, watches a lot of film, got to hear from him after practice saying he's just a football kind of nerd and loves to spend time in the film room. And so a lot of times, those guys end up seeing the field earlier, even if you're not maybe got the most physical. He was a smaller guy. He's still developing, and probably put on some size this spring and will continue to. But Knowles and Cooper, I'm looking to see a continued growth there, because it's crazy how Florida State always has some young studs at the defensive backfield.
On that same note, I was going to say Jarvis Brownlee, because there were times last year where he's a fantastic run defender at corner, but I want to see him take that next step as a guy that he got beat a couple times badly on deep routes last year. If he can take that
Jacksonville State,
locate the football, make plays on the ball, I think that's the next stage in his development. He can be a really good player in this league and for this team. He just got to become a better overall cover corner. Fantastic in run defense, but I want to see him make that next step back as a cover corner.
Yeah, and you guys are talking about the corners, but is it crazy to say that Florida State might have two of the best starting safeties in the entire conference, and Jamie Robinson and
Hakeem Dent?
Hakeem Dent, yeah.
Yes.
And you still have guys like Sidney Williams back there too.
I was thinking of Sidney Williams. Of course, brain just goes numb on me.
Some good safeties back there.
Really, the whole defensive backfield in general.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm going to break it down by position, but when I was doing my little notes, but but the safety room is kind of light though too. If you look at it, it's kind of light. There's really only 3 to 4 really true safeties on that roster.
But the top end, the top 3, the top 4 are pretty strong for Florida State.
They're as good as any safety tandem in the conference.
And depending on where FSU has Renardo Green, whether that's safety or corner, that could be another quality piece.
Got to get him on the field.
Yeah.
I got him penciled in for the nickel roll. I think he's going to take that spot.
I don't know. Kevin Knowles played so well in the nickel last year.
I'm telling you, man. Renardo Green healthy is special. Here's the reason why Ohio State fought tooth and nail to get him. He started
where's Greedy Vance at in all this?
Renardo Green started as a freshman, remember? And then he looked really good at the back end of his freshman year. Then he got banged up. So, I'm just you stick with your Minnesota crap, man. You stick with Minnesota crap.
Oh, damn.
Kevin Knowles played really well last year. That's what I'm saying.
No, he did. But
I love how the way we pick on Austin is just to bring up the Vikings. That's so.
It's all you got on me, really.
We can't bring up Florida State basketball this week.
Yeah, 2-0 this week. Fight me.
No, we have nothing. Yeah, we have nothing FSU basketball to rip up.
I think that would be a great. But that's what makes great players is that two guys that go at it and just compete, and make each other better. That hopefully that something like that unfolds because that makes the team better.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Let's start jumping through some of these positions. Let's go one by one. We can start off with defensive end. And Nate, you said that you have some things here that might surprise us and the viewers and listeners on who will be your one or your starters there.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm going Derek McClendon, man. Over Jared Verse, over Krishan Fuller, over everyone. I think him and Briggs are your starting defensive ends.
I'm with it.
Whoa.
I think the kid is earned his opportunity. He's not a slouch. Everyone's so excited about Verse and his athletic gifts, and as they should be. But Derek's 6'4", 250, been in the system now for 2 years, and has been a really good contributor, in a backup role, and is another guy that's gotten a lot of mention from Storms about his tour duty and his offseason. So I think he's going to take the next step. And then I think that Fuller is a backup, and then I'm putting Patrick Payton as the other guy in the 2 deep because I think that he's got the weight now, and he's probably the best true pass rusher on the roster. So
you don't have Jared Verse in the 2 deep,
not yet.
Okay.
I think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a bigger adjustment than people think, man.
Unbelievable.
I'm telling y'all, man.
I've got him. I at least have him in the 2 deep.
It doesn't unfold like y'all think it always does. So I think that after this spring, because we're talking spring right now, we're not talking fall. I think that Patrick Payton is in the 2 deep.
Drugs. Even your dog is tired of that. Even your dog doesn't agree.
The McClendon part, yes, I think I agree. McClendon's
I'm going. I'm going complete shake-up on this
Come
defense.
on, man.
I'm going complete shake-up on the defense.
Verse not on the 2 deep. Come on, Nate.
Yeah, Well, yeah, Kirk Cousins for your quarterback.
You act like I want it. Like, it's not my choice.
Okay, so let me switch. Let me put Verse over Fuller.
You can't switch
in the
up now.
TD.
It's
You're
already
gonna cave.
okay.
You're gonna cave to public pressure.
Yeah,
You're
because
gonna cave to Austin.
because the way I had it written was broken down between strong side and weak side DN. I'm gonna put Verse in the opposite of Patrick Payton.
Okay. Interesting. For me, I'm gonna go after spring. The starter I think will be Verse, and then on the other side, it's gonna be between McClendon and Briggs. Dealer, you know this too. I think y'all do too. I was very high on Briggs before COVID hit, and then he had to opt out. I was like, this is his season. This is going to be huge for him. I'm all in still on Briggs too. I think this is a great room for competitiveness. Just kind of now dialing in and thinking about it. But McClendon and Briggs going at it for that another defensive end spot. But I see a lot of big time potential with Jared Verse, and he's putting on some pounds too. He's got the speed. I like it.
Yeah, I'm with Nate. I got Briggs and McClendon as the DNs, at least for the spring, as we get to see more and more of Jared Verse. We're making these predictions, and we haven't even seen this kid in a practice yet. So let's remind everyone of that. I'm excited to see him Saturday morning for the first time going through actual football workouts and drills.
You saw him go through workouts on Tuesday morning. Not good enough for you. You gotta wait till
I saw him on that little hoverboard scooter thing.
He needs to watch himself on that. He needs to watch himself. He was
going like 70. I was like, dude.
70. Oh my God. All right, a little dramatic.
He was going fast.
That's how fast he is on the field, too. That's the scary part about it. That's how fast he is. Now I got Verse. After the spring, he's locked in starter for me. Sign me up. Next organization, single digit number. It all clicks eventually. So
I think there's a good chance that he could step into a starting role after the spring. Why is that funny?
That's what I'm saying. After the spring, he's going to be a starter.
We'll see what happens. Big transition for him. But obviously, he's already impressed a lot of guys in the tour of duty, players as well as coaches. I don't know if you said it already, but Josh Storms he mentioned Jared Verse and just the mindset that he had coming into Florida State, ready to work, not complaining about everything and just day by day improving and preparing for the spring.
Yeah. Let's get into defensive tackles. This group I am definitely high on, too. As we talked about, Farmer, too, as a depth piece. Malcolm Ray, too, who had a really solid season last year, stepping in. Fabian Lovett, you've got Robert Cooper, but that guy's saying this is more of, we know who kind of the two guys are, but maybe the depth pieces behind them. What are y'all's thoughts on this group and your 1 and 2s here?
I mean,
I think it's going to be
definitely Lovett and Cooper. I mean, that's very obvious. I think people aren't talking about Jarrett Jackson enough. We saw him towards the end of last season really step up as a leader more than anything. And I think that's important for a young team to have a guy that's not afraid to step and be a leader. I think that's important. I am a little bit worried about the depth behind it. Obviously, Malcolm Ray has shown some flashes, but it's not the same as it's been in the last couple of years. I'm interested to see if D tackle gets hit with an injury here or there, how they're able to recover from it. But overall, the top two guys are great, and then we'll see how the depth goes behind it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was a lot more worried last season about Florida State's depth on the interior defensive line, especially whenever Dennis Briggs went down, because you didn't really know what you were going to get from the guys behind them. But Briggs's injury, it kind of gave Malcolm Ray and Jarrett Jackson more of an opportunity to flourish and show Florida State what they can do on the field. And now, as you look at it going to the spring, I mean, you have a legitimate 4 guys where, if Robert Cooper or Fabian Lovett was to get hurt, you feel really good about being able to just move Ray or Jarrett Jackson into that place to replace them. So I think you have 4 legitimate guys and then some interesting ones behind them, such as Joshua Farmer, You mentioned Daniel Lyons earlier, Logan.
Yeah.
So there's a couple guys behind those four that I'm interested to see.
Even Bishop Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's better than last year. I think that Melvin Ray looked really good. I think that Malcolm, I don't know. So
No, you're good.
Melvin,
I thought you were going Melvin Gordon there for a second.
no, and then, but I think Farmer making the next jump will solidify that unit. You know, put on the weight. Played last year, didn't look like he was, you know, out of position, and you know, he looked like he belonged. So, you know, if he can take the next step, and I'm interested in Chambray Jackson. I think that, you know, he was coming in as a D tackle. You know, he looks like a D tackle to me. So, you know, if you could have even him come in and be a rotational guy for you, you know, there are 6 guys right there that could play, and you know, you have a solid 2 deep, like Austin said. So, you know, I feel pretty good about that room.
That's a good name to bring up, Chambray Jackson, because I don't know. It feels like he's kind of running a little bit under the radar right now.
Right.
And you have to remember in that 2021 class, he was a very highly rated defensive lineman.
Yep.
I believe a top 250 type of guy, and you know, everyone in the country was after him along with Florida State. He's definitely got some potential to make an impact at some point. We'll see if it starts happening this spring.
And then now we move into linebackers, which a group that has a lot of potential here too, and some guys that need some big springs, including, I believe, Steven Dix Jr. along with Gaynor and where they're going to put him. But this group right now has a ton of potential. You got Tatum Bethune being a transfer coming in from UCF, leading the team in tackles. You're bringing that in already with Kalen DeLoach, who had a big-time breakout season last year. This group has a lot of potential, guys. I'm just wondering, you know, who's going to be these starters in this group?
No one wants to answer.
I'm gonna go.
I'm going Tatum Bethune and Kalen DeLoach.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
And then I have as a 2 deep, I have Gaynor and then Lundy, and then I have Gant and Dix.
See, I think Gant's at least in the 2 deep. Just
pass him up.
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, it's going to be really interesting to see how this 2 deep shakes out, because, like Logan said, there's a lot of potential.
It's a little bit of opposite of last year, where where they didn't have the depth, you know.
Yeah, and Gant already kind of played like a linebacker, anyways, as a box safety. You know, now to make him a full-time linebacker guy that can, you know, cover the more athletic tight ends, cover running backs. I think that's going to play a huge role against some of these more spread offense teams. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how it shakes out. I think logical. Yeah, you have Tatum and you have DeLoach, but I don't know. I really don't know.
I agree with your top 4, Nate. DeLoach, Bethune, Amari Gaynor, and DJ Lundy. And then, you know, who knows with Gant making that transition, but you've got Steven Dix Jr. as well, who, I mean, that guy looks like a college linebacker. You know, if he can continue to develop on the field, Florida State really has something there. Jadarius Green McKnight is still there with the linebackers as well after converting from safety last year. And then you've got true freshman Omar Graham Jr., who's already made a couple some impressive flashes since he got to campus, and he could very well step up and be involved in that linebacker unit. I mean, that guy was one of the
Andrews.
Yep, Cortez Andrews
before he got binged up. You know,
he was in a black jersey today.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, there's guys
very impressive in person too. Very impressive in person. That is a linebacker. That is a damn linebacker size.
I'm going. I just think that with Bethune, you know, you have a guy that, you know, played under Randy Shannon before, so he knows what to expect. You know, he's a tackling machine, really smart. I think it matches well with DeLoach. You know, I think those two, you have some athleticism at that position. You have guys that have range. And you know, for me, I've always been after his freshman year, I want to see Gainer closer to the line, more getting after the quarterback. So, they could use him more in that kind of role too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see him become more of a defensive end by the end of spring. Just because I don't know. I don't know if he's more of a. I don't know if he's an off-ball linebacker. I don't think he is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then we jump into some of the DBs. We'll start off at corner here. Last season, it kind of shuffled around. This was a revolving door almost, definitely with help, but also guys that just weren't performing and guys being switched around, including Travis J. You had Jermaine Johnson in there, Jarvis Brownlee. And then you had a young guy like Marion Cooper jump in. This is a big spring here for cornerback. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but one of my biggest question marks is the cornerback position.
I think everyone was disappointed with Travis J. If I could be wrong, but wasn't he rated as the worst cover corner in the ACC?
Yeah.
Or towards the bottom of it?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know, but it wasn't his best.
And then, I agree with Austin. I think Jarvis Brownlee was a little hot and cold. He's phenomenal in the run game. But I think he got exposed a little bit, in the passing game. And that opens up the door for some of these younger guys, in my opinion. This is an important spring for Travis J. Or else he's going to be just another one of those guys. Let's just slide back to safety. Got to get a position and get it down, man. It's been disappointing. But if he can realize that potential, you have at minimum all conference potential. That's how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to come together in every facet, on and off the field. So,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, like with Jay, Demore Tate.
Yep.
The former 5-star signed with Mike Norvell during his transition class to Florida State, but he's just never been able to make an impact on the field yet. Does the light start to turn on for him this spring? Last year, he was hurt on a scooter throughout most of the spring with, I believe, an ankle injury, and I think that just kind of hampered him throughout the year. Wasn't able to participate in the spring and impress the coaches. Kind of carried into the fall. He just hasn't been able to make an impact yet, and I don't know. It's disappointing because Nate, I'm pretty sure he was a guy you had some high hopes for when he did sign with Florida State.
Yeah, I thought he was one of the top corners in the country. Little raw, but man, the gifts are there. But again, it's different, man. It's different. When you go to college and you're competing against guys that are just as talented as you or better, just as fast as you are or faster. Some guys just it's a tough adjustment.
Sam McCall also mentioned in his newcomer interview that he's going to be starting off at corner too.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got some youngins also there. I forget if Thomas said he's
corner
over there too. Yeah, so these two guys are also going to be jumping in there, and not expecting a whole ton from them this spring, but still, you add those two into the mix too. You got guys on your heels.
You haven't even talked about Jermaine Johnson yet, who's been there, who's now his third year there, which I get none of us are all the biggest fans of him, but he's still a guy that's been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you look at that room, I think that Amarion Cooper locks down cornerback one. I think that he's your top corner coming out of spring. And, I got Hunter Washington, in the 2 deep at one of the spots. I debated because, I was thinking about Renardo Green back at corner like he was last year. But I think he can be that nickel guy, because he has both corner safety traits. He can tackle really well. He can blitz, cover really well. I like him there versus straight up corner. As much as I kind of want to put Travis J there. That may be more hope than anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I would love for him to have that light turn on, man, it'd be phenomenal for this defense. But we haven't even talked about Greedy Vance yet, who was pretty solid for Louisville. And, My opinion is I think that, Brownlee is in the 2 deep, but not a starter. I think that other cornerback opposite Cooper, I just don't know who to put there yet because I want to put Travis J, but he hasn't shown me anything yet to keep getting my height.
Yeah.
And I'll admit it. I fight. Excuse me. I fight them up now for going out 3 years because I just know how good he can be, but it's like, damn, man, you got to put it together yourself.
I think it's Brownlee until it's not. They stuck with him all of last year. I don't think they don't start him at least the first couple games. And if he's still struggling, then yeah, maybe you change that. I think that battle for the slot is going to be fun because I don't think you can just take away Kevin Knowles' spot as well as he played. Like I said, it's going to be an interesting battle there, across all 3 spots.
Yeah, I mean, and when you look at it, Sam McCall and Ezra Thomas are both guys that are talented enough to get it in the rotation, and I think they will. I think McCall is gonna be a really good player for FSU. I think Thomas is too. Personally, me, I like Thomas more as a safety, but I'm not a coach at Florida State, but I like him at safety, but I still think that kid's a damn good football player. And when we look at it, you may come out of spring with just a complete young depth chart. If you think about it,
It's what it's looking like.
It's not unrealistic to say, hey, your 2 deep is Greedy, Vance, Hunter Washington, Marion Cooper, and Jarvis Brownlee. That's not unreasonable to say that.
Yeah.
And then what happens with because I put on my notes, I started this position for attrition. What happens with Demore Tate, who, was rumored to kind of be unhappy with his role or whatnot. What happens with Travis J if he doesn't take the next step? Does he decide to, seek out other, another school for a change? I think we see some change there after spring.
Yeah, and that's important to think about because right now Florida State's still over that 85 scholarship limit. It's between 87 or 88 right now, depending on the scholarship status of defensive back Jarquez McClellion. That's never really been clarified by Florida State, so we're not sure if he's a walk-on or on scholarship after transferring in from Arkansas last year. But regardless, 2 to 3 players from the roster will have to depart prior to the 2022 season. And that depends if Florida State doesn't decide to pursue any transfers following the spring, just depending on what they see from certain guys and certain positions over these next 15 practices starting Saturday.
This is going to be fun to watch. I know we talk about wide receivers in the room and defensive ends, but man, this cornerback position group is going to be a battle, and I can't wait for it. There's a lot of young talent on these veterans' heels. I can't wait for Saturday.
I think getting Robinson back at safety is a big feather in the cap for the coaching staff. They get an all-conference safety back, and I think Akeem Dent, came back to life last year, and you have a really good.
There's so many.
You have a really good backup in Sidney Williams who can start at a lot of programs. So, I'm feeling really good about safety.
Yeah, safeties is a big one. This is a big one. Yeah, if Sidney Williams can get back being fully healthy and got to see him actually at tour duty, right, Dustin? Yeah, I remember seeing Sidney out there.
Yep.
Competing and working on during tour duty, which is a great sign because he was hindered last season. Didn't get to see him for the latter half, which sucked. And Florida State hurt quite a bit on defense there. And he ended up being a bright spot to begin the season and really just hurt badly for Florida State's defense when he was not available. And so, this safety room has a lot of potential with Jamie. You've got Sidney Williams, Renardo Green, who, is donned that black jersey on Tuesday morning. And then there's a handful. There's not a lot of them, but there's
wherever they put Renardo
some guys.
Green, he's going to be in the 2 deep, maybe starting
For sure.
especially if he's healthy. Whether it's safety, whether it's nickel, whether it's at corner.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind him at corner. I wanted that last year when it happened. I was excited for that.
Oh yeah.
You know, I just was high on him coming out of high school. You know, but health is a big thing, man. You know, it's hard to get back when you have those nagging injuries, especially, you know, at a position where, you know, you rely on athleticism like a corner does, and when you have a ankle injury, you can't be what you are. We saw that with Akeem Dent 2 years ago now, you know, trying to play on that nagging injury. He was burnt the entire year.
Dupree, we gotta I'm not laughing at the comment, but it is definitely an interesting way to say Renardo. Got Reynaldo. Reynaldo, it is Renardo, but I can rock with that. I can rock with it. I think I can.
Spell check's a mug.
Yeah, it might be this autocorrect might be hitting you.
Autocorrect be getting you, man.
Nah, yep. Yeah, I got you bad there, maybe. But yeah, no, the safety room. It's gonna be fun to watch this whole spring, man. These there's a lot of question marks on the defensive side. Guys that need big springs. Travis J at DB, Jermaine Jones. You've got linebacker Steven Dix, who I think needs a big spring gainer.
You know who else needs a big spring? Adam Fuller.
Uh-oh. Coaches that need a big spring?
Adam Fuller. Year 3.
And maybe another one on the offensive side.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a 1-year deal, so.
Alex Atkins does need to have a big spring.
Yeah. Coach Atkins, you got to have a big spring.
We're watching you, Coach.
Yeah.
Well, watching you closely.
Yeah.
You're right. Watching you those drills and how you're doing that. I need better technique.
No,
better
but
technique.
no, seriously, you know, Fuller needs you know, there's some pieces there, man. You know, yeah, it'd be wonderful to get one of, you know, if you had an extra year with Jermaine or Keir Thomas, it'd be great. But you know, there's pieces there. You can still generate a pass rush and still be, you know, solid up front.
Yeah. No, then I agree. 100% with you for sure. Then just real quick, special teams. We can just go through them real quick. Kicker, Ryan Fitzgerald. And then obviously punter, Alex from the Aussie. Say it, Dustin. You know you wanted to use that accent. You know you want to. You're starting to smile.
Don't egg him on. No.
He's got you. All right, say it now, Dustin.
The punter from down under.
I still heard it. Damn it.
Yeah, Mascherano there at punter. And then things get a little interesting, though. Things are getting tricky. I don't think you'll see Keyshawn Helton back there fielding punts.
We got a long snapper battle, baby.
Let's be honest,
we
though.
didn't even talk about long snapper.
Well, we saved the best for last for Dustin there to go deep. But he's got to look up names now. Look at him; he's typing it. He's laughing. But it does get interesting here. Let's be honest. Special teams, punt return, kick return was absolutely dog. You know, I don't
punt
really
return
want
is
to say
going to be Micah Pittman. Your kick returner is going to be Winston Wright and
Corey Wren.
Corey Wren, probably.
If he's still on the roster.
Yep. Corey Wren
was there. He was there working out.
I'm saying after spring. Yeah. Like if he doesn't decide to go full track.
Yeah.
You know, I definitely don't think we see what we've seen back there before. You know, maybe Ja'Kai Douglas. I don't know. You know, but I definitely think that, you know, either Micah Pittman and Winston Wright are going to be your punt returners for sure. Either one. Maybe get some rotation from both of those, and I think Winston Wright is definitely kick returner one. Kid is special as a return guy.
Yep. Oh, West Virginia. And then
what he had 2 last year, or 1 or 2 returns.
What? That's a great question.
I'll find
After I just said he did a great job, I'm just.
I'll find it.
He did a really great job. I don't know if he had one or two returns for a touchdown, but it's better than what Florida State's had. So
He
let's just put that in
one
there.
kick return touchdown.
What was his average? Like
So better than
70-something?
Florida State.
27.
Better than Florida State.
Yeah.
I think there was.
I mean, it was
what,
atrocious.
19?
I mean, it
As a-
was.
As a freshman, he was 27.6, and then his junior year 20, like pretty much right at 27, which is impressive. As a freshman, to do 27.9.
It was awful last year. It was awful.
Or
It was tough
27.6.
to watch. I mean, that hurt Florida State in multiple
Yeah.
times.
Hitting yards, man. Hitting yards.
But Florida State's defense and offense in a really bad spot multiple times where they're pinned. Guys not knowing, okay, let the ball roll, let it roll into the end zone. Okay, we're good. Or, go and catch and boom, pops out. I mean, it was continuous.
Catch the damn punt.
And then the kick return too, guys were just not one to run, in my opinion. I want get off speed, dog. I want full stead. And then the waiting thing, they teach it in practices too, but don't just sit there. I mean, get a little bit of momentum going. So then you're already getting to a stride. Like, it was just bad. And it was surprising because Coach Norvell, you see it at practices, they teach it. I mean, they spend a whole session, a segment during practices on it, but it was incredible to see that when it came down to game days, just nothing was clicking mentally. So some things they got to change there. Some things that don't need to be changed, though, is the snapper position. I mean, do we have any kind of incredible storylines here or what, Dustin, for our snappers this year? One of your most important positions, maybe top 3.
Who can ever get the job to the ball the quickest to the punter or the holder is who's going to win.
Well, I will say that there's a lot of talent and a lot of experience coming back for Florida State at long snapper. You got both guys that were on the roster last season, and James Rosenberry, who ended up as a starter, and also Garrett Murray, who was the backup. Rosenberry actually transferred in from Maryland last offseason. He previously worked with Coach JP whenever JP was at Maryland, so made it easy for him to transfer to FSU last year. I expect him to continue locking that starting job down. But, regardless, in the event of an injury, Garrett Murray can step right in.
Johnny Buckets,
you got to make sure that you just have the
kick returner.
form right and just snap it.
We don't need this again, Dustin. Stop it.
You need to make sure your neck is tucked, bro, and just one motion. Under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
What?
And we'll never have a guest ever again. Good God help us. All because of a snapper. The greatest analysis ever. Thank you.
All right, basketball time.
You're gonna have to give me a second.
Oh God. Yeah, Dupree's bringing up something here. Johnny Wilson, will he pull up Greg? Man, I was a big Greg Carr fan when I was little, but I think of this. Sign me up, corner. A little corner route right there. Easy money. Red zone threat for sure. But yeah, Johnny Wilson, can he live up? Can he put up some Greg Carr numbers? We'll see. I don't know. Greg Carr special, though. People sleep on Greg Carr. I love me some Greg Carr. Definitely when he got to the end zone. Anyways, let's jump into some basketball so we can wrap up everything. And Florida State right now, Leonard Hamilton, what's going on? What I don't understand this season. Nobody understands it. It's like I'm fully invested, then they kill me, and then I'm like, dang, I'm invested again. They're beating Duke, and then I'm out. And then, oh my God, now they're on a winning streak against some teams that they shouldn't really necessarily be beating because they're not fully healthy. But yeah, give it to us, VZ.
2 in a row against Virginia, which was as improbable as a victory as you will ever see. You're down 6 with a minute 25 left, and you somehow win that game. They outscored Virginia 10-3 in the final 125, which just scored 10 points on Virginia in less than 2 minutes is unheard of almost. Obviously, the incredible shot from Matthew Cleveland that everybody's seen 1,000 times is one of the craziest shots you'll ever see. Coming into that game, he had hit 5 total 3-pointers on the season, and that's a hell of a way to get your 6th. catching, turning, throwing all in the span of 1 second. Shout out Harrison Prieto on the pretty much the perfect pass. Just an unbelievable win, for a team that's still as injured as Florida State is, to go up to Charlottesville, Virginia, and get that kind of win it's a hell of a win. It's a really great win. Gave them some confidence, which they needed. Then to come home last night, play Notre Dame, who's second in the ACC right now, or at least they were heading into the game. One of the best shooting teams in the country. If you had told me one team in last night's game was going to shoot 41% from three and the other was going to shoot 26%, I would have thought we lost by 20. The fact that Florida State shot the ball as well as they did, held Notre Dame from lighting them up from three like they did, it's a testament to the team because they're still continuing to fight despite all the injuries. We finally saw Polite back last night, but then Cleveland missed the game with some kind of stomach virus, apparently. It was a great win. It was a really great win. I was more impressed with the Notre Dame win than the Virginia win, honestly. Just because, we've seen Florida State's Achilles heel has been 3-point defense. We've seen teams continuously light them up from three. And finally, they're like, hey, you guys can take as many shots at the rim as you want. Notre Dame shot, I think it was 42 layups. But then Florida State also had, I think it was 8 blocks? I mean, it's a hell of a win. Hell of a win.
Big win. Big time win. The crowd too, and the tuck too was pretty impressive.
I wasn't listening to the game for the most part because I was watching on my phone at work. And so I watched the last 10 minutes at home, but I didn't really hear the crowd that much, but that's because I had the sound off. That's partially my fault.
Did we get to talk? We didn't get to talk about Matthew Cleveland's buzzer beater, did we, on here?
No, that's why I kind of mentioned it 30 seconds ago.
Wow. Well, someone's got to. Dustin doesn't care about basketball anymore, by the way, VZ.
I watched that happen live.
Your pieces don't go out. I got your pieces.
So did I. Congrats.
No.
I got your piece out. I didn't get one out, and I get shit on. But Logan misses. Logan misses 11 in a row.
I got yours out,
but he brings it up.
And today, by the way, Austin, I got you. I got you, easy.
I mean, like I said, it's one of the most improbable.
Your best 2-day stretch of the season, Logan.
Dustin is true because he did say a cuss word on here, and I know Mama Lewis is watching. And Mama Lewis, I want you to call him after this and have a conversation.
And to Dustin's point about Logan editing and getting out a basketball piece, literally as soon as Logan published it, he goes, "Yeah, we need to get you on like last year where you could just publish it yourself."
Yeah, I mean that seems like a smart idea.
I don't know why we're not doing.
No, that. I agree. I'm just saying, it's
like
March, and I've been saying this since what, November?
I understand.
Just
I have a hard time working with this guy too.
Well, down here in the corner, Nate isn't even on the back end of the site.
Fuck that.
Damn.
I ain't got time for that.
It's the easiest thing ever. It is beyond. It's the easiest thing that could. It's even easier than Google Drive than you use. It's definitely easier than that. Anyways, back to basketball. Sorry, BZ. I love your pieces. So I'm just putting that out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You're one of 10 people that reads it, so I appreciate it.
Hey, I read it every week, bro.
Do you, Nate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I give him his click.
I read the ones I edit.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
There you go.
I definitely appreciate it.
Damn, that was mean.
Only one more game for those that want to move past this conversation like I do.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's keep on moving.
One more game, senior night or senior day against a bad NC State team. They just got 40-pieced by Wake Forest the other day.
Damn.
For the fans in Tallahassee, please show up. Anthony Polite, Raekwon Evans, these guys deserve support. Malik Osborne too. Harrison Prieto, Justin Linder, these guys deserve support. I think that they deserve to hear the fans cheer pretty loudly one more time. Guys like Prieto and Justin have been here for 6 years. They put a lot more in this program than a lot of people realize. I know we credited Harrison for that pass, but he's been hooping recently. He had 7 points against Notre Dame. I think he had 6 or 7 again against Virginia.
I I thought he had double digits against Virginia.
He might have.
He had like his career high against Virginia.
Let me look real quick.
I swear.
While
I was gonna bring that up. Like, can we get him back for his 7th year?
Oh yeah. Wow. I was totally wrong. He had 14 points against Virginia.
Dude, like I'm telling you, he was knocking it down. I was watching the game and I'm like, what is happening here?
Matthew Cleveland had 20. Prieto had 14. No one else had more than 7.
Damn. Wow.
So-
It just seems like whenever he gets it at the top of the arc and he's got a little bit of room, like he nails it every single time.
He's the team's best 3-point shooter statistically.
Jesus.
He's shooting
insane.
45% from 3. The next closest is John Butler at 40%.
Wow. Damn.
Harrison Prieto,
Wow.
a guy who is in his 6th year and has played like 8 total games coming into this year's your best 3-point shooter as a 6th year's walk-on senior.
It's incredible.
It's
And
unbelievable.
he's a backup 5.
honestly.
It makes no sense. Shout out Harrison because he could not shoot. He could not shoot when he first got to campus. It's so fun watching his progression now that I've known him for 6 years.
Well, the thing about him, even if he wasn't making a shot, whenever he's out there on the court, he's trying his best the entire time he's out there. I mean, whenever he's coming out for breaks at timeouts, this guy is literally dripping sweat onto the court. He's playing himself to the point of exhaustion. And it's even more impressive when, like you said, Austin, he's barely played during his career. He came into the season probably expecting to play a similar role as a guy off the bench who got in late in games when possible. And instead, the last 6 or 7 weeks, he's been thrown into a legitimate role for this Florida State basketball team. And he's played up to par for what you would expect out of an undersized walk-on center.
I would say above par. Like, he's been as good as you can expect from a walk-on player. I mean,
it's impressive.
It's
safe to say that he should have gotten Justin Linder's scholarship. I'm sorry. I'm putting it on the table. I'm sorry.
Well, so no. Here's the thing. He technically has a scholarship. It's just from the meteorology department. So the basketball team didn't have to use it on him.
So can he come back for one more year?
No, I don't even think he'd want to at this point. He's been here 6 years.
I don't know if they were like, you're starting.
But just coming into this season, he had played in 27 total games. This year he's played 19 alone, which is unreal.
Yeah. And I can't imagine the minute disparity between those 27 versus the last 19.
Yeah, Ken Palm doesn't give it to me, so give me 1 second. I got to go somewhere else.
Damn, that's tough. Angels here in Arizona saying, love the show, love to watch right after I get off from coaching. Oh, nice. Got a coach in here. Keep up the great work. Like you said, he's watching from Arizona, so we got some Arizona.
All right, you ready for this minute disparity? This is amazing. From his first 5 seasons, he played a total of 69 minutes. Nice. This year, 233.
Wow,
quadruple.
He's played 4 times as many minutes as a 6-year walk-on than he did his first 5 years. That's insane.
You got to do a lot of 69s to get to that number.
A lot of them. And he'll probably play another 20 minutes on Saturday because it's senior night.
And I just want to go back to it because, dude, it's impressive, like, the effort that he gives and how, like, he's literally exhausted when he gets off the court. Because, you got to think, he probably wasn't in the type of shape to play this many minutes.
And he's old for a college basketball player.
Yeah, dude, he's like 31.
All right.
He's older than me.
All right.
He's as old as Nate.
Allegedly. Damn, that's messed up, Nate. You gonna let him talk to you like that?
I didn't mean anything.
You're gonna see. Oh yeah, you're gonna see each other on. Oh,
we'll see. Did you book him a place to stay?
Yes, he's got a hotel. He's in the Marriott. He'll be here. That hand is gonna be on the back of Dustin's neck.
If he can reach that high.
Damn, he's calling you short, Nate. Damn.
You said he was short.
No, I said he's not tall.
I'm 5'11". That's not short.
Yeah, that's not.
Logan is short.
You're taller than
not
Logan.
Short.
You're taller than Logan, Nate.
Not even close. I'm taller than Easy, but
Logan's about
camera angle is bad.
Logan might be the shortest person on this podcast.
Are you on drugs? You're on drugs.
Logan is fighting tooth and nail, and he's
You're on tooth and nail, yeah. Don't even start.
He's the only one
I
here
need to get back
below
to drinking.
5'10".
I need to get back to drinking on the show. Good God. Mm-mm-mm.
I also want to shout out John Butler for his insane performance against Notre Dame.
Yep.
4 or 5 from 3, 8 boards, 4 blocks. That's what you want out of him every game.
Shout out to Butler, baby.
Who would have
Thin
thought he'd be the best freshman this year?
At this point, I think I'd give it to Cleveland. It's close.
Really?
It's really close. They've both had their moments. Because Cleveland can create a little bit more for himself than Butler can. Butler is still too scrawny to really create for himself. We saw at the end of the Virginia game when Cleveland doesn't think and he just goes, he can get to the basket whenever he wants. But they both had some superb flashes. Even Worley's had some great flashes, especially that Duke game. I think we've seen a little bit more out of Cleveland than we have Butler. Granted, part of that was injury. A lot of people don't realize he was playing through a sprained ankle. Anytime he was off the court, he was in a walking boot for like 4 weeks. It's tough to play through.
It's tough and rough. But I think, does that wrap up basketball? Everybody go to the game on Saturday at noon in the Tuck. Go check out some seniors.
I would say that myself, Logan, Nate, Maddox, and Noah would all be there, but we've got to be at spring practice. I'm sorry, bud.
It's unbelievable.
Damn.
I'm offended.
That
Playing
football. But that does transition us into we have tomorrow, we have the coaches luncheon, which will have coverage of that. We're interviewing assistants. Of course, Coach Norvell is doing his press conference to begin the spring, and then we'll also be able to catch up with our good old friend of Corey Fuller. We'll be able to talk to some of the off-field staff members too, which will be fun tomorrow. So we have that luncheon tomorrow, and then Saturday is a big day. Nate will be in town Friday night, and Saturday we got practice at 10, and then they're all throughout that whole morning and afternoon and evening is all recruiting stuff. So a lot of guys coming in town for that, which, there's a list growing in the Discord right now that you guys need to go check out. A lot of people are asking too if we'll have photo and video. Yes, we will be able to share some photo and video for the first couple of periods, and then got to put the phones away and such. But we will be able to give some photo and video to kind of show you guys, this is what Farmer looks like. We're not lying. This is how big he actually looks. But finally get to use that. So make sure this is the big time now. Make sure this number right here on the banner, right down below, this number 850-616-86.
I'm going to have the phone this weekend.
You're not going to be able to text anybody. You're going to have to. You're going to have to choke me out.
This weekend. That will be hard.
Well, first of all, let me tell them the number so they'll text it. 850-616-8661, and we'll be texting
direct
you guys.
line to Nate.
Yep. Spring practice updates will be coming to you, and it won't be with Nate, but it will come with some pictures of maybe Treshaun Ward, who we had on here this evening, or maybe Jordan Travis. Maybe some of these freshmen coming in with Sam McCall, Azaria
Thomas.
Thomas.
Me with Dustin in a headlock.
Well, I'll let you do that one. Then. I'll let you do that. That would be fine. But make sure you text the number 850-616-8661. And as usual, always make sure you're following all of the socials. We'll be on Instagram. This is where I finally get to shine. Finally, we're going to take some videos. But Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram stories. It's just going to be everywhere. And in the Discord too. So, that's about it. And then we've got a special announcement tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are excited to announce the next game day that we will be revealing the next team. There's been a lot of guesses, and only a few people have gotten it right, but I think it is going to surprise a few people. But a few people.
You want me to make a guess?
How about hell no? How about hell no? I was about to say a few of these guys on here are going over to join that team and the staff over there. So it's been a lot of work this week. I just got a whole nother list of things to do once we get done with this. But very, very, very excited to announce this. And I think some fans on here will end up liking it too for a majority of you guys. But don't want to give it away. Don't want to give it away too much.
I should.
No, I'm cancel the hotel right now.
I'm tweeting
canceling the hotel.
Tweeting at 8:30.
No.
Break it.
No.
I'm tweeting next at 8:30.
No. Yep. No. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to go live at 9 a.m.
8:30 on Nate's Twitter.
No, don't go there.
At
don't go there.
26.
9 a.m. Eastern, Central, Pacific.
No.
9 a.m. Eastern's a little early for me.
You're going to be up. I swear to God, if you're not up, Jesus Christ, help me.
I will be, but I'll be on a plane, so I don't
I
think
won't
that
be
counts.
retweeting that announcement
Flex.
till like 1 p.m.
What?
Well,
Thought
if
you
you're
had
up to
work.
handle it,
Well, we need your clout. You thought you were growing your clout. I thought the retweet would help. Get it out
No.
there.
not for that.
And just for the record, though, Mendoza, we're 1-0 right now for the bone-in guys. 1-0, 1-0 with current players for bone-in.
No,
You
no,
paid
no.
you paid him to say that. Just admit it.
Nah.
NIL deal under the table.
He said,
I did not pay.
I can go whichever. No, he was wishy-washy.
No, he you could tell his love.
You
No,
could tell he didn't want
is
to
bone-in.
offend your boneless
I
love.
think that once we get the,
Where's the merch at?
I
Where's
know.
the merch at?
Get his merch at his merch and our merch, cause like the combo
We're gonna
deal.
call it the King of the Wing.
Yeah, King of the Boneless Buddies.
Just saying.
Oh, God help us all. God help us all.
Came up with that right there.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. But yeah, tons of coverage the next like 72 hours. So keep an eye out for that. Everybody, appreciate everybody hanging in here with us this evening. Definitely shout out to Treshaun Ward. Best of luck with them this spring camp. We're hoping to get a few more other players and coaches, but fantastic interview. That was the first time I actually got to hear the back end story of him earning the scholarship. We really didn't hear much about it. So he kind of got to share the news with us this evening to all the FSU fans. So really cool stuff. Hit the subscribe button right now on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and we'll see you guys next week on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Enjoy the weekend. Spring football is here. Bye.